Hey guys, Kevin here, and today I want to talk about some of the ways Queen Daenerys Targaryen's conquest of Westeros mirrors that of the first Targaryen king, Aegon the Conqueror, and what that may mean for the rest of Season 7. The first major parallel, of course, is the castle both started their conquest from. The Castle of Dragonstone was the castle both monarchs were born in. It was built as the westernmost outpost of the Valyrian Empire, and had been the personal castle of House Targaryen a dozen years before the doom of Valyria. In episode 1 of season 7, Daenerys Stormborn returns to her family's abandoned castle, and makes use of Aegon the Conqueror's painted table. The table was carved in the shape of Westeros, and both monarchs used it to plan their invasions. Just like Daenerys, King Aegon I began his invasion with 3 dragons, Balerion, Vhagar, and Meraxes. Unlike our heroine, King Aegon began his war with 3 dragon riders, himself and his sister wives, Queen Visenya and Queen Rhaenys. One of the first major battles of Aegon's conquest was a naval battle. King Aegon hoped to conquer Goldtown, one of the 4 major cities of Westeros at the time, just as Daenerys hoped to conquer King's Landing, the 5th and largest city of Westeros. Both invasions failed. The navy of House Arryn defeated the Targaryen force. In retaliation, Queen Visenya burnt the Arryn fleet. In episode 2, we see Daenerys' invasion fail, as King Euron Greyjoy defeats Daenerys' Ironborn and Dornish allies. Curiously enough, he burns their fleet, as Queen Visenya did the navy of the Vale. The next battle of note in the War of Conquest was the capture of the signature castle of the most powerful house in Westeros. For Daenerys, that is Casterly Rock, the castle of House Lannister. For Aegon, that was Harrenhal, the castle of King Harrenhal, the Ironborn king of the Riverlands, and of course the Iron Islands.
Harren the Black thought this castle would be his legacy. Greatest fortress ever built. Tallest towers, the strongest walls. The Great Hall had 35 hearths. 35, can you imagine? Look at it now. A blasted ruin. Do you know what happened?
Dragons?
Yes. Dragons happened.
Aegon roasted Harren the Black and his sons alive, melting and twisting the towers of his great castle, and bringing their house to an end. Their kingdom was later split in 2. The Riverlands were given to the first house in the region to join Aegon, House Tully. Aegon allowed the Ironborn to choose their own High Lord, and they chose the Greyjoys. In episode 3 of season 7, we saw Daenerys' capture of the great castle of Casterly Rock. The biggest battle in the War of Conquest is known as the Field of Fire. King Loren Lannister of Casterly Rock and King Meryn IX of House Gardener, the ruler of Highgarden, joined forces and commanded an army 5 times the size of the Targaryen host. The battle is noted for being the only time all 3 Targaryen dragons took the field, and given the name Field of Fire, you can probably guess how that ended. House Gardener, the rulers of the Reach, was ended in that battle. Their kingdom was surrendered by and ruled by House Tyrell, who became the Wardens of the South. Like their predecessor, House Tyrell did not survive this new Targaryen conquest, and was once again not the Lannisters' allies against the Targaryens in the new Field of Fire. House Lannister also surrendered after the Field of Fire, and became the Wardens of the West. We saw a repeat of this battle in Season 7's Episode 4, where House Tarly stands in for House Gardener alongside the Lannisters, against the Dothraki, Daenerys, and Drogon. The next likely parallel involves the King of the North. King Torrhen Stark marched his northern army into the Riverlands, and was met by a Targaryen army that had multiple kingdoms among its ranks. The North had an army twice the size of the Targaryens, but this standoff happened after the Field of Fire. King Torrhen thought it would be best for his people to surrender to the Dragon Lords instead of fighting a battle they had no chance of winning. The King of the North bent the knee and was named the Warden of the North. Lord Torrhen was known thereafter as the King who knelt. If bending the knee is the only way to gain Daenerys' support in the Great War to come, then there should be little doubt that the King of the North will once again do what's best for his people, and bend the knee to the Targaryen dragon rider. Of course, yielding might not be the only reason Jon drops to his knees. Another parallel to King Aegon may be the Targaryen practice of incest. The first conqueror of Westeros married his sisters. For political reasons and some foreshadowing in the books, a relationship and even possibly marriage between the two Targaryens is likely to occur this season. When the two first meet, Daenerys takes note of Ser Davos' comment about Jon taking a knife in the heart for his people. Though this comment could foreshadow a number of events, it certainly suggests that Queen Daenerys will see King Jon's scars for herself and will run her hands against them. The last parallel this season, mayhap with Aegon's conquest, is the death of one of the three dragons. During the invasion of Dorne, the dragon Meraxes was struck by a scorpion bolt and died. This is Qyburn's plan to defeat a dragon in Season 7. When Meraxes fell from the sky, its rider, Queen Rhaenys Targaryen, fell with it and died as well. This doesn't bode well for one of the dragon riders in this series, as this hints at another dragon rider will also die this season. The parallel between Casterly Rock and Harrenhal suggests that House Lannister could be wiped out. That doesn't bode well for Tyrion Lannister, who is almost certainly one of the dragon riders. Of course, Daenerys' nephew, the King of the North, Jon Snow, could also die again. Queen Rhaenys was the favorite sister wife of Aegon the Conqueror. Jon dying again would be a bit of a cheat, since we know he'll be fighting alongside Beric Dondarrion later on this season, likely episode 6, and the brother without banners can bring the King of Winter back from the dead. If the other option is Tyrion dying though, I think we're all okay with this. That's all for now. Like, comment, subscribe, share, check out my other videos. I'll be back with more soon.